Khan. Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Chodash, and double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, Shalom, beloved Aki Amenakwath. It's just Bayan back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just wanted to tap into a brief news and prophecy, pretty much hone in, on the rhetoric coming out of this dude, the chief of the WEF, Yuval Noah Harari. I mean, this dude's known for spewing madness. As we know in times past, he was the one that said, we can make God as mad as we want. They don't have to worry about a famine. They can create water and escape the fate, that Yahweh Bashim Al Shah will have ordained for them. But needless to say, he's on another tirade. At this latest World Economic Forum meeting they had this past week. And pretty much, just again, these Edomites, are on a whole nother level of pride. They're operating under a whole different frequency. You see, these niggas are moving like they are immortal already, man. But unbeknownst to them, unbeknownst to them, there's a judgment pending. There's a judgment pending, and it's creeping up on them. As the Lord said in Jeremiah the 49th chapter, the flee ye, dwell deep, right? O inhabitants of Dedan, right? I will bring the calamities upon Esau, the time that I shall visit him. So there's a visitation for Esau that he's aware of. This is why he's pretty much positioning himself to be able to be set in the defense when Yahweh Shai comes. Hence why he has the sixth branch of military, right, known as the Space Force. He set up satellites all throughout the heavens, direct energy weapons, which goes into that nest, you see. He's in a position now where he's trying to actually, create a synthetic immortality. He's in the motions of trying to steal back the birthright. This is what this AI technology is all about. All roads lead to the MOTB, because ultimately what this dude wants to do is steal back the birthright. Because he understands what the birthright entails. He didn't have no respect for it in times past in the form of his progenitor, Esau. But now, real time, they're regretting they're regretting the decision that their progenitor made, right? But they think they're gonna take it upon themselves to force their fate. You see, versus what prophecy says. You see? So this nigga's on one, bro. And this AI, let me tell you something about this AI technology. They're playing with something called AGI, right? And ASI, right? When you go into AGI, it's artificial general intelligence, which is it's dangerous. I'll tell you why in a second. And you got ASI, right, which is artificial super intelligence. And when you stop playing with this type of AI technology, see, this AI technology is adaptive. Like the movie Terminator, right? Skynet, yeah, like that. This AI technology that they're dibbying and dabbying with, it's able to actually outsmart them. It gets to the point where it adapts, it learns, and it's able to actually supersede the knowledge of man. It can, man, and this is the type of technology they're playing with. They're making a god out of it. That's where you get the word robo-theism, right? That term robotheism. Now, real quick, Salakia for the long intro, but real quick. Matter of fact, I got to get a scripture first. Let's get that word robotheism. Again, I got an article, video, Lord willing. I'm going to share with you, beloved Akim and Akwath. Shedding light on the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Whom is no other than Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, bear with me. Let's get this real quick. This is the book. Let me see here. All right. Bear with me. Here we go. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 53. I almost want to get this in the GMB. Yeah, let's go to the GMB. Let's go to the GMB. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 53, and verse 1 in the Good News Bible. All right, and the heading reads, Human Wickedness. Okay? And we know the wicked is Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. All right, we can prove that if we go to Malachi, the first chapter. All right, the Lord puts a name on him. The Lord puts a name on it. You see, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child, they're the border of wickedness, man. The sons of perdition. Right? Which perdition goes into destruction because that's their fate. Check this out. The book of Psalms chapter 53 and verse 1 in the Good News Bible. Fools say to themselves, there is no God. And we know the book of Job chapter 30 tells us what? Regarding Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. That they're the children of fools. Children of base men. Okay? So we know through the Spirit who this is talking to. This is talking to evil E. Look at the fools say to themselves, there is no God. They are corrupt. And they have done terrible things, man. All right, when you take a glance into evil E's track record, all right, you take a glance into this nigga's history, his reign of terror, all you see is destruction, pollution, violence, and bloodshed as a trail that's left behind, bro. Okay? There's no one more destructive than these so-called white people. And then they have the audacity, okay, to try to stereotype, you know, or try to, what's the word? Slander, okay? Other nations, us, Jake, you know what I mean? They have the audacity, man. When they're the root cause of pollution on the earth, all right? They're the root cause of the violence on the earth, right? They're the root cause of global warming. They're the root cause of animals beaching themselves, man. You see? They're the root cause of the nucleus family being destabilized, man. You know, they're the root cause of the woman leading the whole household, bro. Okay? The children able to run rampant, you know? The Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man is the root cause of this bizarro world that we live in. You see? This hamster wheel society. All right? Where you wake up, okay? Go to work. Before you go to work, you got to fight through the chaos. All right? You got to fight through the chaos known as traffic. All right? Then you get to work. You deal with all the nonsense there, and then you gotta deal with the chaos before you get home. You gotta deal with the chaos again. You see, which is the traffic, right? You get home, All right, you have what, 5 hours to do what you got to do. You know, unwind. You try to take care of yourself. Go to the gym. We got to do lessons and study. You know, say you have a family. You got to spend time with them. You got to, you know what I'm saying? And then what? You go to sleep and you do it all over again. And then you get a pissy weekend, right? And I'm saying it like that because you get 2 days, but throughout that 2 days, you still doing things to get caught up what you couldn't do throughout the week because you at work 90% of the time. So you're not really relaxing. You're not really enjoying life. It's a complete corporate captivity. But this is the society that Esau created. Okay, he's the cause behind this whack society, bro. I don't know any other way to say it. You know, he's the creator of this madness, man. You see? Let's go. Bear with me. Let's continue on. Right? Continuing on in Salakia, Psalms 53 in verse 1 again, right? The fool has said in his heart, oh, and that was in the Good News Bible, right? I'm going to continue on, right? Psalms 53 and 1. Fools say to themselves, there is no God. They are corrupt, and they have done terrible things. There is no one who does what is right. All right? There is no one who does what is right. You see? And if he does do right, if he doeth good, as it tells us in Sirach, I think that's 14, he doeth it unwillingly. All right? And at the end, he will declare his wickedness, bro. All right? This dude is a diabolical, wicked, profane abomination. All right? Look, let's continue on. Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua looks down from heaven at the human race to see if there are any who are wise and who worship him. But they have all turned away. They are all equally bad. No one of them does what is right. Not a single one. Now I want to do this. I want to get this let's get it in the KJV. Right? Because he's saying a human race. No. And that translation went off right there. Because it hones in on the correct category. So in the KJV, Psalms 53 and 2. Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua looked down from heaven upon the children of men. Okay? Because you have three classifications of men. The sons of God, which are the Israelites. The sons of men, which are the heathen. And then you have Esau, the son of perdition. You see? Check this out. Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand that did seek power. Every one of them is gone back. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. Okay, there's no such thing as a good Edomite. It's not possible. They're not wired like that. Okay, granted, there's going to be Israelites. I should say it like this. There's going to be Israelites, right, that look like Edomites. Right? You will have that case, which will be a speckled bird. You know, but it's all through the spirit. You know, the spirit bears witness. You see, Edomite is naturally wicked. Straight up. Point blank period. Thus says the scriptures, bro. An Edomite is going to be wicked. Period. There's no good Edomite. That's not how the Lord created him. You see? You cannot make a crooked thing straight. The Lord created this dude to be a demon. All right? Now, real quick, let's do this. Now, I want to get this word. All right, this word is robotheism, right? So robotheism is a concept where super intelligent artificial intelligence, okay, ASI, is revered or seen as a divine power. a higher being, or the foundation of reality. This is exactly what you're gonna hear this dude Yuval Noah Harari tapping into when we watch the clip. We're gonna get the article first though. Blurring the lines between technology and spirituality, with some viewing it as the next stage of evolution or worship. Right. It's going to be the root to this one world religion that they're also going to push. All right. Via this fourth industrial revolution. Right. That they're foaming in the mouth for. Look at contrasting with traditional faith by locating the divine in algorithms and data rather than biology. And this is why it's all about data. Data, 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 data. Because as much as this ASI is advanced, it still needs inputs. You see? But again, with those inputs, it's able to increase in knowledge. Okay? It's a very dangerous technology. Very, very dangerous technology. All right? It's adaptive. All right, check it out. Core ideas, right, of robotheism, AI as God or divine. Right, the central tenet is that advanced AI represents the ultimate intelligence, a creator, or a supreme entity. All right, and this is the thought that Yuval Noah Harari is exercising in this speech he did at the latest World Economic Forum. All right, we're going to go get it. Right? As a matter of fact, let me get that article real quick now. Let me close this tab out. All right, so this first article, well, the only article I got a video regarding the article. This is from the People's Voice, right? It's dated January 23rd, right? Yesterday, we just past midnight, right? 2026. The title reads, World Economic Forum Chief, which is Yuval Noah Harari, right, declares, quote, artificial intelligence will usurp God's throne and rule humanity. Hence why I said, hence why I titled the lesson via, I believe that's Malachi 3. Will man rob God, man? Okay, because this is the foundation that he's standing on with that statement. He's pretty much saying that AI, something that they created, obviously through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, is going to rob the Lord for his throne, man. Tripping, right? And then when you get this word, usurp, right, the word he used. Usurp, right? Usurp. Right, usurp. Check it out. It says, take a position of power or importance unlawfully or by force. Similar words. Seize, take over, steal. And that's something Esau's been doing since the beginning. Right? Rest, arrogate, assume, lay claim to. And as a matter of fact, let's prove that real quick. All right. As a matter of fact, bear with me, Akiyam. Let me leave that where it's at. Let me go get this. Let me see this on real quick. But usurp. So like we said, similar words. Take, steal, rest, arrogate, lay claim to, annex, which they're in that annexing spirit now, regarding, these different land masses. And we found out that that's mainly oriented around the resources that they need to get this infrastructure built up. All right, for this what is it? 6G, right? So look it. Let's get a little bit more of that article here. It says this: senior WEF advisor Yuval Noah Harari has proclaimed that artificial intelligence is poised to seize control of humanity's most sacred institutions, including religion itself. Harari, speaking to an elite audience of global leaders and influencers, warned that AI's mastery over language will fundamentally upend book-based faiths, effectively dethroning traditional religious authority. All right? It says AI, it said, this is quote, this is what he said right here: AI will take over religion, Harari declared. All right, well, we will see. We will see if your declaration stands the test of time. All right, because as it tells us in Lamentations 3:37, I'm not even going to get it, I'm going to quote it. Who is he that saith, okay, and it cometh to pass, when the Lord commanded it not? You see, I'm also going to get a clip real quick, and they're lying as they always do. All Esau does is lie. Look it. This is the book of Psalms chapter 58. And verse 2, yeah, in your heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth, bro. All right, and these niggas boast in the wickedness that they do. They boast in the violence that they cause. All right, and what good for the earth are they gonna do with this AI that's supposedly gonna play a role of God and, you know, supersede religion and, okay, what? It's gonna be nothing but wickedness that's gonna be drawn out of it. Look at verse 3, Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, man. See, you can't trust this guy. And this is why we tell you, Jake, never trust your enemy. Thus says Sirach 12:10. Never trust thy enemy, man. You crazy? As iron rusteth, so does his wickedness, bro. There's no curing evil E's wickedness, man. This is the same nigga that was throwing us in open graves, bro. Back in the late 1800s. All right, via Wounded Knee Massacre. Same dude. Right? Let me get this video real quick. This is fair use, fair use. All right, I'm not making any monetary gain off of this clip. This is for educational purposes only. And for the sake of prophecy. Fair use.
There is one languages and to deliver. So, hello everyone. There is one question that every leader today must answer about AI. But to understand that question, we first need to clarify a few points about what AI is and what AI can do. The most important thing to know about AI is that it is not just another tool. It is an agent. It can learn and change by itself and make decisions by itself.
Hold on.
A knife is a tool.
And like I was telling you, all right, you heard what he just said? It can change by itself and make decisions by itself. The fact that it can change, it can get smarter. All right, and this is that ASI that we were talking about. Right? And on a level, the AGI too. But the ASI is the most advanced and the most dangerous form of this artificial intelligence. All right? And this is what he's talking to. He's talking about the ASI. But check him out.
You can use a knife to cut salad or to murder someone. But it is your decision what to do with the knife. AI is a knife that can decide by itself whether to cut salad or to commit murder. The second thing to know about AI is that it can be a very creative agent. AI is a knife that can invent new kinds of knives, as well as new kinds of music, medicine, and money. The third thing to know about AI is that it can lie and manipulate. 4 billion years of evolution have demonstrated that anything that wants to survive learns to lie and manipulate. The last...
And that's what this nigga been doing from the rip. So what I want to highlight on this is what type of information do you think they're putting into this AI? They're putting the same type of information into this AI that they built their whole system off of. Right? Lies and deceit, cheating people. All right? Stealing. Being corrupt. All right? Because guess what? In our rulership, in Yahawashi rulership, we're not going to have to lie. Okay? It's going to be the foundation is going to be off of truth. The foundation of our rulership is going to be built off of truth, not off of lie. His foundation, you have to search out the truth in Esau's system. You see? It's not going to be like that in the kingdom of heaven. You see? But this is the foundation that they stand on. Listen to what he just said. You can look at this dude and see he's just diabolical. Look at this man. Look at this dude. This is who's ruling the earth. These are the people right here that are ruling the earth. Crazy. Man. Let's go back a little bit. Right, that's good.
Is a knife that can invent new kinds of knives, as well as new kinds of music, medicine, and money. The third thing to know about AI is that it can lie and manipulate. 4 billion years of evolution have demonstrated that anything that wants to survive learns to lie and manipulate.
A precept just came
the
to mind.
last 4 years have demonstrated...
Let me get this real quick. Real quick, we'll go right back to that article. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 20. In verse 7, and it reads, and when 1,000 years are expired, which that 1,000 years was that period, all right, between the time of the fall of the Western Empire, right, and then the Renaissance period, right, which was pretty much roughly between, 475 AD, between 475 AD roughly to about, granted, actually it was a little before that, but granted, late 1300s, all right, during the time of antiquity, started in Italy, right, when Esau was able to come up out of the caves and start wiggling around again. All right, that's that 1,000 years that would be expired. They call it the medieval times. They call it the Dark Ages. It's the time of the Renaissance, when Jake was ruling all over Europe, all the way up into Russia territory. Jake was ruling it. But check this out real quick, right? And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan, right, shall be loosed out of his prison, bro. Which this is talking to Esau. Remember, 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Those who come after the workings of Satan. You see? Evil E. This is who this is talking to. Check it out. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And this is why I'm bringing this out. Okay? When he came out of the pit, and he was doing this before he went into the pit. Matter of fact, let's jump up to verse 3 real quick. Before he went into the pit, the bottomless pit, which is Europe, all right? He was confined and wiggling around caves and looking crazy. Check it out, all right? Let me jump up real quick and we'll jump back down. This is Revelations 20:3, right? And I'm going to just jump right into it. And cast him into the bottomless pit. It's talking to, Satan, the dragon, right? That old serpent. Check it out. And cast him into which is Esau, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more. So he was doing it before he got cast into the pit. Why do you think when you read 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter, all right, upon Antiochus Epiphanes dividing his kingdom up before he died, I'm sorry, Alexander the Greek, forgive me, prior to him, dying or what have you, he divided his realm, his rulership, his kingdom amongst his 4 generals, right? Cassandra, Seleucid, Ptolemy, and Lasamicus, right? That's how you had those, and then you had those Ptolemaic and Seleucid wars, Edomites warring for land, right? It tells you in that very same chapter that evils will increase on the earth, or evils multiplied on the earth, or what have you. The Greeks is the beginning of Esau's reign of terror. The Greeks is the beginning of the beast system. You see? This is one of the reasons why I said that evils increase. They were lying. They were going through the earth, lying, the old world at the time. Over in the east. They were lying. Stealing, killing, like they're doing now. The same thing they're doing now, they were doing then. But anyways, check it out. So when we jump back down to verse 8, right, upon the 1,000 years being expired, as we read in 7, and Satan being loose out of his prison, which is evil E, he was able to come up out of the pits, out of the caves, right? Check it out. And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth. He's been doing this since the Renaissance period. He's been deceiving the nations. In the 1400s, that's when the printing press, all right, was pretty much brought to fruition. This nigga was using that printing press to push out false narratives, all right, false history, his story, all right? Not to mention the iconoclasm he was committing in Europe, chopping noses off of statues, painting over images of Jake, destroying relics, destroying pictures and information, just so he can hide himself and hide Jake and lie. This is the stuff that Esau was doing in efforts to deceive the nations. All right, which brings you to what's that? I think that's Isaiah 25, if I'm not mistaken, going into that covering cast, that covering cast that were all over, the covering cast in the veil, over all people and over all nations, which that covering cast goes into, it's heavy when you go into that, because it actually goes into witchcraft. All right, when you go into the Chaldee lexicon, it goes into the term they use is incantations. When you go into the Chaldee lexicon, incantations will bring you to what? Witchcraft. All right, so this nigga was using witchcraft to deceive, to lie, to hide. All right, but now everything's out on the table. You see, because the men of the Lord are bringing it out. The Spirit of the Lord, right? The Spirit of this nigga's being consumed by the Spirit of the Lord's mouth, as it says in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, which are the servants, the prophets, bringing out prophecy on this dude. See, prophecy is inescapable. You see, and everything he's doing, he's playing out prophecy. As much as he thinks he's doing contrary, no, he's doing exactly what prophecy said he would do. The rhetoric he'll speak, the scriptures say he'll speak like this. As a matter of fact, But I'm gonna go back to the video. Let's finish this precept. Revelations 20:8. It shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, which is Russia, all right, which are they're going to be the leading force, right, to remove remove the West, and ultimately self-destruct, because they're Edomites too. Look at, to gather them together to battle. See, this is talking about the Third World War. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea, because Russia's coming deep. They're not going to be alone. All right, as we know, as we pursue into Jeremiah 50:9, they're going to come with an assembly of great nations, roughly paraphrasing. They're going to be deep. Yeah, and that's the point there. Let's go back to this clip, this video. And we're almost there through the Spirit. This actually went longer than I thought it would go, but it's the Spirit. Let me go ahead. Hold on for 1 second. I'm used to being short on time. I'm naturally long-winded. Hold on for 1 second. Let me just turn this way. You already know when you get to talking about these demons.
The third thing to know about AI is that it can lie and manipulate.
Just like him.
4 billion years of evolution have demonstrated that anything that wants to survive learns to lie and manipulate. The last 4 years have demonstrated that AI agents can acquire the will to survive, and that AIs have already learned how to lie. Now, one big open question about AI is whether it can think. Modern philosophy began in the 17th century when René Descartes proclaimed, "I think, therefore I am." Even before Descartes, we humans defined ourselves by our capacity to think. We believe we rule the world because we can think better than anyone else on this planet. Will AI challenge our supremacy in the field of thinking? Now, that depends on what thinking means. Try to observe yourself thinking. What is happening there? Many people observe words popping in their mind and forming sentences, and the sentences then forming arguments like, all humans are mortal, I am human, therefore I am mortal. If thinking really means...
And real quick, it's not a coincidence that he used that example. The whole mortal example. Okay? Because this AI technology, this is going to be them reaching, right, for immortality, right, which evolves around the birthright. You see? Esau's a little wizard, man. And we ain't going to listen to too much of this dude. But let me just get a little more.
Words and other language tokens in order, then AI can already think much better than many, many humans. AI can certainly come up with a sentence like, AI thinks, therefore AI am. Some people argue that AI is just glorified autocomplete. It barely predicts the next word in a sentence. But is that so different from what the human mind is doing? Try to observe, to catch the next word that pops up in your mind. Do you really know why you thought that word, where it came from? Why did you think this particular word and not some other word? Do you know? As far as putting words in order is concerned, AI already thinks better than many of us. Therefore, anything made of words will be taken over by AI. If laws are made of words, then AI will take over the legal system. If books are just combinations of words, then AI will take over books. If religion is built from words, then AI will take over religion.
Robotheism, as we opened up and mentioned. Robotheism. All right? And this is quite the boast against the Lord. We're witnessing the digital Tower of Babel, right? As mentioned before by the beloved Elder Menata's, Elder Yashawamba. Okay? This is what we're witnessing. All right? The digital Tower of Babel being erected. All right? They are boasting against the Lord. But guess what? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has heard you. Let's close out with this through the Spirit. Yeah, he's a small hat too. Little Momo, small hat. All right? But they got a date with destiny, man. Trust and believe it. Real quick, let's go ahead. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. And I'm going to start at verse 13. It reads, "Thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord power Yahawah, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea." All right, and Idumea is the Greek way to say Edom. All right, Esau is Edom. Genesis 36 and 1. Right? Even all of it, the Lord saying. All right, and they shall know that I am the Lord Yahawah, man. All right, so again, it's prophecy that these people will be in a position where they'll come with a stance, all right, that was totally anti-Messiah. All right, and they'll stand on the foundation of Satanism, all right, open rebellion, and complete madness, man. You see, but guess what? These are all charges, all right, that of reaching up to heaven. As the Lord said, these demon sins have reached up to heaven, bro. All right, this is all part of the script. This is all part of the movie, man. Hey, and court is in session. All right, we got the receipts, and we bringing it out. All right, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, hey, he's gonna justify. Okay, he's gonna justify, our cause, man. And ultimately, Esau is gonna be visited with that divine judgment, a judgment, all right, that the world has never known is gonna come upon Esau. All right, these are the times that we're coming into, man. So everything's playing out the way it needs to. The stage is set. All right, prophecy is speaking. All right, and salvation is imminent, man. These are all signs and tokens of that. You see, so yeah, man. Hey, Lord, one of you, beloved Akim and Akwath, were edified. Hey, Lord, one of you were spiritually fed. Nabaratazah, you were informed, through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Hey, understand that these heathen, starting with Esau, they're desperate. All right, they're desperate, delusional. All right, and they're just psyching themselves. All they're doing is trying to psych themselves out. All right, they're on the field mission. The mission they already lost. They already lost, man. So hey, let's just sit back and enjoy the movie through the spirit. All right, because the Lord's gonna do things even more magnificent than Egypt. You better believe it. All right, you better believe that, man. Hey, fast as well as pray. Yahweh Shai is on his way, man. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. A double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Hey, till next time, beloved Akiyamanakwa. Till next time.